Buttercup. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep.
All right. Great. So that was just an introductory video regarding the Starship program. That was all real, no CGI there. What we're aiming to develop with Starship is a generalized means of transporting large amounts of mass or people, but just in general, large amounts of mass anywhere in the solar system. The idea behind behind this is to have the first fully and rapidly reusable rocket, which is that's really the holy grail of rocketry. If you can have a fully and rapidly reusable rocket, orbital rocket, then the cost of transport of a ton to orbit drops by about 2 orders of magnitude, maybe better. So, just as it would for really any mode of transport, if you say had aircraft or cars that were not reusable, you would see very little use of aircraft and cars because you'd have to buy a new aircraft every time you went somewhere. And if you traveled somewhere in a car that was single use, you'd have to obviously tow a small car behind you just for the return journey. So I think this is quite profound. If we are successful, and at least from a design standpoint, it appears to be, all of the calculations close for having a fully reusable 100-ton to low Earth orbit capability. The vehicle is very big. So one of the things that helps with reusability is scale, because, for example, the electronics that control the brain of the vehicle, if you will, does not actually get any heavier if it is a big vehicle or a small vehicle. So things like avionics and control, inertial measurement, sensors and whatnot become round down to basically almost no percentage of the mass for a big vehicle. Whereas for a small vehicle, obviously that would be much more of an issue. So scale certainly helps. And then we're using the most advanced engine cycle, which from a physics standpoint is the best. You can extract the most amount of momentum for a given amount of fuel or propellant, which is a full flow gas staged combustion engine. That's the Raptor engine. There are currently 29 of those on the base of the booster. We'll be expanding that to 33. At 33 engines and with the Raptor 2, we'll be doing about 7,700 metric ton force of thrust on liftoff. So it's about 2.2, 2.3 times the thrust of a Saturn V. So it's really a very big vehicle. It's the biggest rocket ever designed, and we're close to our initial launch, our initial orbital launch. We've done several suborbital flights, and have been able to land the vehicle successfully. The first orbital flight we're hoping to do in January. So we've completed the first orbital booster and first orbital ship, and we'll be complete with the launch pad and launch tower later this month, and then we'll do a bunch of tests in December and hopefully launch in January. There's a lot of risk associated with this first launch, so I would not say that it is likely to be successful, but I think we'll make a lot of progress. And then we've also built a factory for making a lot of these vehicles. So this is not a case of just one or two. We're aiming to make a great many. Ultimately, I think in order for life to become multiplanetary, we'll need maybe 1,000 ships or something like that. But the overarching goal of SpaceX has been to advance space technology such that humanity can become a multi-planet species and ultimately a spacefaring civilization, and to make true the things that we read about in science fiction and have them not always be fiction.